Hey guys, in our reading this morning, we're going to finish up Mark 15. And as we saw last time, Jesus is on the cross and he cries out with a loud voice. According to John's account, he cried out, "It is finished." Then he breathed his last. And in that moment, the veil in the temple was torn in two. And the man who'd been given a front row seat to everything, this centurion, who'd witnessed Jesus interact with crowds and interact with the thieves on the crosses next to him. He concludes, he says, truly, this was the Son of God. Surely he was who he claimed to be. And what we're going to find out in our text this morning is that he wasn't the only one standing there watching everything that took place, but there were some people that were just at a distance, kind of further back. And so we're in Mark 15 and verse 40. There were also women looking on from afar, among whom were Mary Magdalene, Mary the mother of James the Less and of Joseph, and Salome, who also followed him and ministered to him when he was in Galilee, and many other women who came up with him to Jerusalem. Now when evening had come, because it was the preparation day, that is, the day before the Sabbath, Joseph of Arimathea, a prominent council member, who was himself waiting for the kingdom of God, coming and taking courage, went to Pilate and asked for the body of Jesus. And Pilate marveled that he was already dead, and summoned the centurion, and he asked him if he'd been dead for some time. And so when he found out from the centurion, he granted the body to Joseph. And then he brought fine linen, took him down, wrapped him in linen, and laid him in a tomb which had been hewn out of a rock, and rolled a stone against the door of the tomb. And Mary Magdalene and Mary the mother of Joseph observed where he was laid. There's these women that had been watching everything happen from afar. And it must have been very traumatic for them to watch the brutality happen to Jesus, the Lord. Somebody that they had determined that was worth leaving everything and following after and serving. This must have been really difficult for them. But Jesus has breathed his last. He's dead. He's on the cross. And if he's going to get buried, there's no time to waste. This was the preparation day. Do you notice that? And if you're going to celebrate a day, a holiday like the Sabbath, where you don't do any work at all, you've got to make some kind of preparations ahead of time. That was this day. And so this is Friday, and the Sabbath is on Saturday, and the Sabbath begins at sundown. And this is evening, and there's no time to waste. Now, there was this man who was by the name of Joseph of Arimathea. And not only was he a member of the Sanhedrin, but he was a leader of the Sanhedrin. He was a leader amongst the Jewish leaders, but he was also a believer. He believed in secret, and he was awaiting the kingdom of God, and Jesus was his king. And according to Luke's account, though, he had not consented to the death of Jesus. According to John's account, he followed him secretly because he was fearful of the Jews. But notice Mark's account, he says that he took courage. You know, he really goes out on a limb here. And he asked Pilate for the body of Jesus, and Pilate is just shocked that Jesus is already gone. And so he gets confirmation from the centurion, and then he grants his request. And so Joseph of Arimathea takes his body down from the cross. He wraps it in a linen, and he puts it into this tomb, this cave tomb where no body has ever been laid. And so some of the women that have been watching from afar are witnessing where Jesus' body's been laid because of the preparation day, because it's almost the Sabbath. There wasn't enough time to do everything that you would do for a proper burial. And that'll kind of play into our reading. But all this reminds me of what Isaiah said in Isaiah 53 and verse 9, where he says that they made his grave with the wicked, but with the rich at his death, because he had done no violence, nor was there any deceit in his mouth. And it was like the Father was saying, all right, I know he's got to die with criminals. I know he's got to hang on the cross, but that's enough. You know, he's going to have to get a proper burial. He needs some honor. That's exactly what Joseph was providing. But what's amazing is that 3 days later, Joseph is going to get his tomb back.